Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our afternoon edition of Big Brother 22 All-Stars live feed spoilers. Alas, there is no prop comedy in this video. I think we got it out of our system with the Final Fantasy plushes earlier.
Maybe, we'll see. Maybe we'll be bringing it back later and we'll have 20 of them.
There might be 20 star babies by the end of this week. You never quite know. We'll talk in this video about a secret. Nicole. She's got a secret.
Yeah, and she's sharing it with Christmas right after she said she wanted to get her out earlier.
Okay, there's some ridiculousness going on. Kaysar campaigns to Nicole. I'm sure that's going to be very exciting. Also, Memphis details his strategy plans here for the Blob Alliance. Before we get into anything here, if you guys do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Also, our first Patreon live chat is happening on Sunday, so be sure to check out our Patreon if you're interested in that. That link is in the description alongside our store.
All right, so let's talk about this Kaysar campaigning to Nicole because, I mean, he did what he had to do. Of course, he has to end up talking to her, but she made it clear that, you know, she's not going to vote him out of the house.
Yeah, she was like, obviously you've got my vote. And Kaysar, to his credit, he was friendly to Nicole. He asked how she was doing. He had a reasonable conversation. And it's not like he detailed his entire game plan, but he was just like, I'm going to go around and talk to people and see where their head is at because I love this game and I want to try to be here and be a part of it, which is a reasonable enough thing to say.
Yeah, I was really glad that he went and spoke to Nicole because he probably knew that he has her vote, but it's still good to see him going and making that effort. It's not going to hurt him going forward.
You know how often we hear this, and I think sometimes it is a boilerplate excuse of, well, this person didn't talk to me, and because they didn't talk to me, I am gravely offended, and I will target them out of every fabric of my soul. Nicole can't do that exactly, because Kaysar at least tried.
Yeah, he really has tried, and that's good. I mean, we saw David not really talk to many people because he was feeling secure. Kaysar, he probably knows he's staying, but he's making the effort, and I think it's good.
He's had conversations with a lot of people. Kaysar's been kind of a social butterfly this morning. He's like, wandering around, having some long conversation with Memphis about business marketing that is probably only interesting to the two of them. But he's at least, I feel like he's in better spirits today. He is having conversations. He's been much more active so far today than Janelle has.
Yeah, which is, a little bit surprising. I know Janelle's up against it here, but there's still time. It's a small chance, but there's always a chance in this game.
You can't really ever rule anything out, and if Kaysar continues to be so sociable, we have to remember that Kaysar has the capacity to screw everything up dramatically at some point over the next couple of days.
Yes, anything is possible.
All right, let's get into the secret, because this is very amusing to me, and I'll explain why quickly in Beauty and the Geek terms, because on Beauty and the Geek, I went on there after I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I was terrified to tell people that I was on Millionaire because I thought they would hold it against me. So after I had already been eliminated, I was like, I have this secret to tell you guys, to some of the other geeks. I was on Millionaire, and their response was like, okay, whatever, we don't really care at all. I mean, maybe if you won $1 million, we would have cared, but...
But you never know, right? Sometimes people take that stuff into consideration.
Yeah.
It just depends on who you're with in that group.
Yeah. There was another person, and I won't air all the dirty laundry here, but there was another person who said, I took some modeling photos a few years ago, and it's like, why is this a secret? Like, why is this a big deal? But anyway...
Nicole's secret that she decided to tell Christmas and sworn to secrecy is that Victor helped her train before she went on the show. And I think a lot of people probably do some working out before they go on the show. They know that there's endurances or the slip and slide where you need to be able to do a lot of running back and forth. You have to be in somewhat decent shape.
Victor's nickname was Elf Fit Vic. I think everyone is going to assume that Elf Fit Vic is going to help Nicole get into full fighting shape before the start of the season. I do not know a single person in there that's going to be like, oh my goodness, because Nicole has now been working out, we must get her out right away.
Yeah, and so it seems like she's trying to make some sort of inroads with Christmas, which is interesting because, as we said in our morning update, her and Danny have been talking about getting rid of all the women after Janelle goes, and Christmas's name came up, which, I thought was really weird because Christmas is kind of on that side of the house and isn't really targeting them, so it was kind of strange. But now Nicole is saying, well, while she was in sequester, she wasn't really keeping up her training and stuff like that, and if Christmas would help her a little bit.
Yeah, and I think Christmas, she loves help. I think she loves helping people with this sort of stuff.
Yeah,
I think
she does.
She's also good at it, so I think it's a chance for her to showcase her own skills, and she always is going to be into doing that. And what was fun to me, though, about this whole exchange, and it went on for a while, is that, Christmas and Nicole, they would talk a little game, and then Nicole would leave to do something, and then she would sort of come back, and at one point, and this was very brief, Nicole left, and Christmas just sort of turned to the camera and was just like, yeah, I don't really want to tell her everything that I know, because it's getting overwhelming, and I think she wants to hold back a little bit, because she's not 100% on Nicole, but she's, this is obviously smart for Christmas if her number one is Tyler. You don't want to give away everything to someone who's not your number one.
Yeah, for sure. I've said this before. I think that Christmas is playing a really good game this season, and giving Nicole enough, giving her some, training or talking about that, giving her a little bit but not everything. It's enough to build somewhat of a bridge. It's just, is Danny and Nicole just going to target all the women anyways? Like, is there a way to build something with these two?
And I'm just not sure, but it would be hilarious, though, if Nicole blindsides Christmas at, let's say, I don't think it's going to happen this soon, but let's say hypothetically at Final 10, and then Christmas, like, straight up after she's put on the block is like, I trained you for weeks. How dare you do this to me? I would die laughing.
I would laugh too. I don't think she's going to go out in a ball of flames like
that.
No,
but Christmas, she did disclose a tiny bit of info to Nicole. She was just like, I've spoken with Janelle, and we talked briefly about this, that Janelle attempted to have a strategy talk yesterday that really just turned into Christmas talking about herself. But in that conversation, Christmas did learn, according to Janelle is going to have votes of support from Bayley and from Memphis, which may not really be true, but Janelle's trying to push that narrative.
Yeah, and I mean, good for Janelle for having that push, even if it's not 100% true. It at least would get some people thinking that maybe it would be an idea to keep her in house, and if other people are considering it, that maybe they should also think about it.
Here is where the alarm bells go off in Nicole's head, though, where she's going to be like, well, why are Bayley and Memphis giving Janelle hope? And we know that she's already trying to plant the seeds against Bayley and Davon. Memphis, I just don't really think anybody cares all that much, because they want Memphis to sit on his throne of paper that he thinks that he is like king of, and then somebody's just going to come and crumple up his throne and throw it away.
Memphis. So listen, Memphis is getting, I think, a bit ahead of himself here. He's getting upset a little bit that, he feels that him and Tyler and Cody have taken all the heat in their alliance, and he wants the women to start taking some of the heat. Memphis, it's only been like the 3 HOHs. You guys have won. Your alliance has won every single one of them so far. Like, let's have a couple more go by where everybody can sort of switch the throne here before, raising the flag to be like, guys, we need to be wary here. The women aren't pulling their weight.
Okay, I'm gonna bust out a bad Memphis impression now.
Okay, here we go.
Here's this conversation with Tyler. We've been winning everything, and I'm kind of grumpy, and I need to have some of the other people. We can't take all the heat for this. It's just he reminds me a little bit of like the 70-year-old curmudgeon-y character in the Western who's just like sitting out in the corner, and he's just like, back in my day, we did duels out in front of the saloon. It's a bit Memphis. For one, you're not anywhere close to 70 years old, but he's always like one of the first people up. He's always just like really cranky in the morning, and he's like, He's living large right now. His alliance has been in power this whole time. It's like he's going to the fancy hotel and he's just like, where are my monogram towels? This does not have my initial on the towel. Give me my towel.
And I understand to some degree where Memphis is coming from with this, that he does want everybody to take some of the heat. But we do have that, Christmas did win that safety suite. And I know the whole idea was to, make it look like people outside the alliance are doing things as well. But that was part of the game that Memphis put together for them. And so there have been some moves that the women have done that have taken a little bit of heat. And the heat was from Memphis, which is like the craziest part of it here. But he's got to give them a little more time. It is only week 3, and social game is also very important. And we have seen people win this game or go very close to the end without winning anything. Like the social game can take heat as well, like what's happening with Danny, who has been playing all the sides, trying to gather information, bring information back, has caught in a couple of lies, but she is taking heat for what she's doing. It's not always about only the HOH or only the veto.
And I think Memphis also just doesn't understand that there's supposed to be a balance between the strategic and the social game and the physical game, because he is like, let's think about this move, let's think about that move, and it's like nobody's really that loyal to him because the social bonds, they're just not really there. I think his strategic ideas, by and large, they're not terrible. It's just nobody has loyalty to him because I don't think anyone really cares that much about him.
And some of his execution just hasn't been that great. Like, you can't come up with this great idea where you're like, we're gonna burn everybody's safety suites, and then you're gonna get mad at your own alliance member for winning it and doing exactly what he asked her to do, which is make sure you win and then make sure you pick somebody that's outside the alliance. Let's shuffle it all around, and then she does it and ends up getting crap for it. Like, it's real weird with Memphis. You just don't know what you're gonna get.
His new idea that he explained to Tyler, it's once again, I think it's a sound idea where, okay, if one of us in the Blob Alliance wins HOH, they can then take out somebody else's sub-alliance so that we can cut out all these other options and eventually get close to the end. Like, for example, someone other than Nicole can take out Ian, and maybe someone takes out Enzo in a few weeks or something. Like it's a good idea, but by no means do I think that Memphis has the social capacity to do this properly and not get people ticked off. Plus, I'm going to be really annoyed if this happens and we just have, like, a brigade that runs the entire season.
Yeah, he's basically proposing the brigade is what it is that it's the main alliance. They have their sub-alliances. Once, it's time now to get rid of all the sub-alliances and then move the brigade to the end. This has already been done very effectively. It worked. So I get where Memphis is coming with this, but I don't think that he can execute this well because, like I said with that safety suite thing, everybody did exactly what he said and he was still unhappy with the result.
Can I announce the funniest moment of the feeds this morning?
Let's
It goes back to Christmas's punishment, which I am enjoying more now that there's 13 of them and it's kind of ridiculous. She was just lying in bed, and they played, like, the baby noise, and it was just sort of like, Cuddles! And so she, like, cuddles on Star, and it's like, thank you, Mom! And then she, like, they keep playing this, like, 13 more times, and she has to do this with every single one of them, and she's like, you're welcome, little star! You're welcome, little star! It's like halfway through it, you can slowly see her starting to lose it a little bit. She's like, thank you, little star! Like, it's like 5 seconds away from just throwing this star all the way into the backyard, which I'm not even sure is open anymore, and just never seeing it again.
This punishment has been the absolute best, because there was also that really sort of wholesome moment with Davon where she was like babysitting all the baby stars and then took out the one with the little angry face and was kind of giving it like a little pep talk to be like, You can turn that frown upside down. You don't need to have this frown. It's gonna stick like that if you keep that up. I was like, this is so cute. I love these stars. Please put them on the store.
This is why Davon needs a punishment. Davon is just having to co-opt other people's punishments.
And she is.
And she did it with the ants. She's done it with Christmas. You guys are going to make me so mad if you get rid of Davon. Davon is the gift that keeps on giving.
Please give her a punishment.
Not a bad one. Just give her a costume.
Yes, something fun like this.
Yes. All right, we'll wrap this up. But what do you think Davon's punishment should be? There we go. Let's crowdsource ideas for her to make her happy. Also, Memphis's plans. Give us all your thoughts in the comments. And if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, support us further. Check the links in the description to the store, to our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.